I had to turn off the TV because I couldn't stand the sight of it. That was Noel Gallagher's reaction to Kendrick Lamar's performance at the 2025 Super Bowl. But just how deep is Noel's resentment toward Kendrick? What made him publicly criticize Kendrick in front of everyone? What exactly happened? Follow us now to hear the full story. The recent Super Bowl was not just a top-tier sporting event, but also a stage for Kendrick Lamar to create a sensation with his unique flared pants style. His outfit quickly became the center of discussion among the media and fans. Praise flooded in from all sides, from the press to social media. Many viewed it as bold, creative, and a clear expression of Kendrick's individuality. However, there were also plenty of opposing opinions, particularly from more conservative voices who considered it ridiculous and inappropriate for the image of a renowned rapper. One such critic was Noel Gallagher, former frontman of Oasis, known for his controversial statements. A traditionalist who dislikes excessive experimentation, Noel has never hesitated to voice his displeasure toward new trends he deems lacking in artistic value, especially when it comes to Kendrick. Noel has publicly criticized Kendrick in the media multiple times before. As if by some fateful arrangement, today the two found themselves in a heated encounter at a major charity event for children with cancer. The event gathered hundreds of renowned artists from various fields. It was a lavish gala where artists not only contributed to a noble cause, but also took the opportunity to leave their personal mark in front of the press. As soon as he entered the grand hall, Kendrick immediately drew attention with his bold outfit. His shimmering silver flared pants reflected the stage lights, paired with a meticulously tailored long vest. Camera flashes flickered nonstop as reporters pushed forward to capture his image and ask questions. On the other side of the room, Noel Gallagher appeared in a more understated style, a classic black suit with traditional trousers. Upon seeing the media swarming around Kendrick, he raised an eyebrow in displeasure. A reporter quickly approached Noel, eager to hear his thoughts on sharing the stage with Kendrick Lamar. As if waiting for this moment, Noel smirked and scoffed. "Those pants are ridiculous. I don't understand how a grown man could wear something like that. It looks like a joke." Reporters seized the moment and pressed further. "Are you saying Kendrick's fashion style is problematic?" Noel shrugged, unable to hide his sarcasm. "Calling that fashion? I'd say it's more of a disaster. Honestly, that kind of outfit is just promoting meaningless trends. Don't make me say it outright." News of his comments spread like wildfire, and within minutes, Kendrick had already heard about Noel's remarks. When approached by reporters for his response, Kendrick remained calm. "An artist's fashion has no limits in terms of gender or age. There is no standard rule to impose on it. Everyone has their own way of expressing themselves, and I respect that. I only ask for the same respect in return. A piece of clothing does not determine a person's value. If I feel comfortable, if I feel it represents who I am, then that's what truly matters." His voice was deep and steady, yet there was no denying that the atmosphere in the room had started to shift. Whispering among the guests grew louder, with curious glances cast toward the two artists, as if anticipating an even tenser confrontation. The main dinner had begun. Like a predator spotting its prey from afar, Noel let out a cold smirk, took a sip of red wine, and slowly walked toward Kendrick, saying, "Listen, kid, I have no problem with you. But don't expect me to stand by while your fashion misguides an entire generation. I grew up in an era where men knew how to dress like men. There was no need to try too hard just to get attention." Kendrick frowned, crossing his arms, his tone no longer as calm as before. "So you think dressing in my own way is wrong? I don't need anyone, especially you, to decide what I should wear or how I should express myself. If I can inspire someone to be more confident and to live true to themselves, then that is what truly matters." Noel burst into laughter, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Inspire? Inspire who? Young people who can't even tell right from wrong. Art is art, but please don't turn it into a joke. You can rebel in your own way, but don't expect me to applaud it." Kendrick took a step forward, his gaze sharp. "You don't have to like me, but at least respect me. I'm not asking you to accept my style, but at the very least, don't deny my right to creative freedom. Beauty doesn't have a single definition, Noel. Art thrives on diversity, not outdated prejudices." Seeing Kendrick getting irritated only made Noel more pleased with himself. The debate grew more intense, drawing the attention of the entire hall. Some people nodded silently at Kendrick's words, while others shook their heads, unable to believe that a charity gala had turned into an ideological battle between two music icons. Noticing the tension between the two, a playful investor made an interesting offer. If Kendrick and Noel stood together for a photo, he would buy the picture for $1 million and donate the entire amount to charity. Everyone burst into laughter at the offer. They were expecting the two men to react strongly, but what happened next left them stunned. Hearing the offer, Kendrick immediately nodded and smiled sincerely. "As long as that money can help children, I'm more than willing to do it." All eyes in the hall turned to Noel, waiting for his response. But instead of agreeing, Noel shook his head, crossed his arms over his chest, and said coldly, "I won't take a photo with him unless he takes off those pants." The atmosphere grew tense. People began whispering amongst themselves. Kendrick frowned, stepping closer to Noel, his voice firm. "Noel, we are at a charity event. Not everyone gets a chance to help others like this. You may not like my style, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that $1 million could save many children's lives, and you're still refusing just because of a pair of pants." Noel crossed his arms and smirked. "You think I'm the type to be easily persuaded? Art has its limits, and so does fashion. I won't let a picture of me become a joke. You can wear whatever you want, but don't expect me to accept it." Reporters immediately raised their cameras, capturing every moment. Some artists in the hall murmured among themselves, some shook their heads in disappointment at Noel's stubbornness, while others admired Kendrick's unwavering stance. Kendrick shook his head in disappointment, his voice lowering. "You know what, Noel? I used to respect you as a music legend, but today, all I see is a man willing to give up the chance to help children just because of a personal prejudice. I don't need you to like me, but at the very least put your pride aside for something greater." Noel remained silent for a few seconds, then smirked slightly, his gaze sharp. "I don't need you to teach me about kindness, kid. Charity doesn't mean forgetting one's identity. And I don't change for anyone." The argument reached a deadlock. The investor shook his head in disappointment and withdrew his offer. The atmosphere in the hall became tense. The charity event continued with other activities, but everyone could feel the undeniable tension between Kendrick and Noel. During the event, Kendrick donated $3 million and publicly apologized to the organizers for drawing unnecessary attention to himself. After all, the public no longer saw the event as a charity gathering. It had become a clash of two opposing ideologies. As expected, the incident quickly spread across the media. Major newspapers, television networks, and social media platforms all reported on Noel Gallagher's controversial statements. Hashtags like #NoelGallagherOut, #Kendrick Lamar fashion icon, and #RespectArt flooded Twitter, igniting an endless debate. The online community and the entertainment industry reacted fiercely. Many criticized Noel for his rigid mindset and outdated prejudices about fashion and art. Several major figures in the music and fashion industries joined the discussion, expressing their support for Kendrick Lamar. Singer Billie Eilish shared, "Fashion is freedom of expression. Attacking an artist just because of their style is unacceptable." Renowned designer Alessandro Michele of Gucci posted on Instagram, "Kendrick Lamar is a new fashion icon. The world needs people who dare to break boundaries. What truly matters is his compassionate heart, willing to tear down all prejudices." Meanwhile, Kendrick Lamar remained calm amid the storm of controversy. Instead of responding harshly, he posted a single statement. "Noel is not at fault. Not everyone can resonate with my fashion, but I hope we can all learn to respect diversity." The post immediately received millions of likes and shares, widely praised for Kendrick's composure and tolerance. However, Noel Gallagher showed no signs of backing down. He took to social media again, this time not only mocking fashion but also making veiled remarks about Kendrick's race. "Nowadays, anyone can become an icon just by wearing ridiculous pants. We're living in strange times, but I suppose some people will always have more privilege than others." Immediately, Noel's words ignited an even greater wave of backlash. Media outlets scrutinized his every word, and many cultural experts pointed out the racial undertones in his statement. Even Noel's loyal fans became divided. Some tried to defend him, while others expressed deep disappointment in their idol's remarks. The media storm showed no signs of subsiding, and the pressure on Noel Gallagher continued to mount. This time, the backlash against Noel exploded across all media platforms. His comments not only insulted Kendrick but also revealed a conservative mindset and a lack of respect for contemporary art. One by one, brands began to abandon Noel. Fashion companies, music labels, and radio stations successively announced the termination of their partnerships with him. Some music festivals removed his name from their guest artist lineup. The media continued to analyze Noel's statements, pointing out words that were discriminatory and outdated. Did such consequences make Noel change his views? Unfortunately, no. During a live interview on BBC, Noel appeared exhausted but still tried to maintain a defiant tone. "I am not apologizing. I say what I think. This world is strange when a person cannot express their opinions without being hunted like a criminal. I don't need anyone to accept me." The host was stunned by Noel's response, but before she could continue, criticism from the audience flooded social media. Even his most loyal fans were divided. Some continued to defend him, but the majority felt disappointed in their idol. The interview was like a final opportunity for Noel to break down the barrier between him and Kendrick, but he chose a worse path instead. In the end, under overwhelming public pressure, Noel Gallagher posted a brief statement on his official account. "I will take some time to reflect on everything. Perhaps it's time for me to take a step back." However, instead of sympathy, the public continued to criticize him for his irresponsibility and stubbornness. The image of a musical legend gradually faded before the public's eyes, while Kendrick Lamar continued to rise as a symbol of innovation and tolerance. Realizing the intense public reaction, Kendrick Lamar unexpectedly extended a public invitation to Noel Gallagher through an interview. "I have always admired Noel as a musical icon. Despite our disagreements, I believe we can use music to connect rather than divide. I want to invite him to join me for a special collaborative performance. With its proceeds going to charity, this is also an opportunity for art to speak instead of personal conflicts." This proposal quickly shook the media world. News outlets and fans eagerly awaited Noel's response. Kendrick's kindness gave Noel a chance to turn the situation around. A single acceptance would bring him back to his former glory. Not long after the awaited response arrived, Noel officially spoke out in a short video. "I don't appreciate Kendrick's invitation. He seems to be trying to use this moment to wrap himself in a cloak of kindness. But I worship my own principles above all else. Don't act kind toward me. I wish you all the best, Kendrick." The statement quickly became the center of debate. Ultimately, Noel Gallagher officially withdrew from the entertainment industry, leaving behind a controversial legacy. But the consequences of his series of mistakes didn't end there. The public flooded Noel's personal accounts with criticism. Even his family wasn't spared from public scrutiny. Facing daily backlash, both online and in real life, Noel's wife could no longer bear the pressure. She decided to divorce him, declaring that she could no longer live with someone condemned by the whole world. The divorce led to a prolonged legal battle over assets, and after the court's ruling, Noel lost most of his wealth. His commercial contracts were cut, no one wanted to work with him, and his reputation collapsed rapidly. Unable to find work in the entertainment industry, Noel abandoned the spotlight, wandering from city to city to avoid attention. He was no longer the music legend respected by millions, but just an old man trying to escape a bitter reality. To make a living, Noel decided to move to a rural area on the outskirts and survive by singing in small bars. No one had ever imagined that a music legend would one day have to live off such a lowly job. But there were no other options. Only in such places did the audience not know who he was, and even less about the scandal he had created. One day he happened to walk past an old, run-down bar in the neighboring town. Music echoed from inside, and as he stepped in, Noel saw a large screen displaying a performance by Kendrick Lamar. The image of Kendrick standing on stage, tens of thousands of people cheering wildly, and the dazzling lights celebrating an artist at the peak of his career filled the room. In that moment, Noel realized that he and the man on the screen were worlds apart. Noel sat down in a corner, silently watching. There was no more anger, no more bitterness, only an overwhelming sense of emptiness. He took a sip of his drink, looked at the screen, and grasped the greatest lesson of his life. His stubbornness and prejudice had cost him everything, while Kendrick, with his openness and tolerance, continued to rise. He understood that he had paid a steep price for his rigid mindset and disregard for others. Noel let out a faint chuckle, shook his head, and got up to leave the bar. For the first time in years, He felt a deep sense of regret. But it was all too late. Is there still a chance for Noel to reclaim his former glory? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to follow us for more fascinating stories.